Thank you, Jolene. Please welcome our other honored student presenter, Dana Sokolowski.
You remember when you were little and you brought home those drawings of stick figures with no necks and dried macaroni clothes, faces made from styrofoam peanuts and pink glue? And even though the arms were two different sizes and the hands had no palms and legs protruded from the stomach, you were proud? You signed your name and gave it to your mom, even though it wasn't Mother's Day. And you just stood there with a toothy, watermelon-sized grin, your hands in your butt pockets, wavering from side to side, too eager to stand still. No one really cared that there was hair coming out of your sister's ears or whether or not she had ears at all. You were just a kid. You were so pleased with that drawing. You didn't think about whether or not it was good or acceptable or better than your best friend's. You were just proud, and you hoped your parents would be too. To be unashamed of who you are, regardless of what anyone else says, that is how we should live our lives. And that is what I admire most about childhood, that shameless, genuine expression. It's not that kids are fearless. They just aren't afraid to express how they really feel, draw what they really see, ask what the majority of us are afraid to ask. Naturally curious about everything, kids aren't naive. They're simply passionate. Well, then we grew up, and somewhere along the way we became fearful of almost everything. Afraid to be ourselves, afraid of others being better than ourselves. We stopped expressing how we felt, monitoring what we said at all times. Everything we did, we compared to the successes of others, defining ourselves by test scores and labels. Suddenly, that ugly drawing we drew some 15 years ago just meant that we weren't good enough to be an artist. You see, we're so afraid to be who we are, afraid of the world, of failure, afraid of what might happen if we said what was truly on our minds. From the very beginning, we have harnessed this fear of making mistakes, terrified of being proved wrong, of looking like a fool. And each year, this fear penetrates deeper within us as we continue to face the difficult task of shaping our identity. But the goal in life isn't to be fearless. And despite how much we have to lose, we have so much more to gain. By pushing beyond the restrictions we put on ourselves, we can finally reveal to the world what we're made of. And I think that is worth the risk. We must not let our fears prevent us from pursuing our passions. Because the second we understand the difference between being scared and feeling scared, we will come to realize that the only thing that is truly in our way is ourselves. You and me. Being scared is cowardly. You're afraid and you let it control you, submitting to the very fears you created in your mind. But feeling scared, well, that's inevitable. These next 4 years are going to be scary, whether we think we're prepared for it or not. But the other, more reassuring half of this is, these next few years are going to be unlike anything we've ever experienced before. We'll experience growth, independence, freedom. And knowing that gives me a sense that all of this fear we're holding on to is going to keep us sane, keep us grounded, keep us balanced, keep us focused on our sole ambition, becoming who we've always wanted to be. Just by sitting here today, we have already accomplished the first phase in becoming our ideal selves. And no matter where we go from here, what is most important is that we remain passionately devoted to whatever we choose to do and pursue it wholeheartedly. A year ago today, I was here in Evanston with my sister. We were sitting on a park bench after the graduation ceremony, sipping Arnold Palmers we bought with loose change, and there was this boy. He had set up a stool beneath the shade of a sapling, draped a bed sheet over it, and taped a sign to the front that read, "Your name," in hieroglyphics, only $1. I handed him the rest of my change, and he drew my name with perfect precision in the ancient Egyptian language, by memory. When he had finished, he gave me a printed copy of the strange symbols, and to my surprise, it was completely accurate. He was 7. He told us he wanted to study archaeology. This is the kind of passion we need, the kind of passion that can take you anywhere you want to go. That boy is going to grow up and be the next Sigmund Freud or Emily Dickinson or Pablo Picasso. These are the types of people we learn about in school, the so-called crazy ones we quote and study. They certainly weren't fearless. To some extent, they were afraid too, of people and society and the power of the mind. But they took their fear and made it theirs, creating something that lasted, something that people respected and valued. It didn't matter whether or not people agreed with what they said or how they lived. What matters is that they said how they really felt, turned their fears and convictions into something we still relate to even today. The kind of people we once considered crazy are in fact exactly the people who've changed our world. So find out what you're most afraid of, what keeps you up late at night, and share it. Use it, define it, mold it. Be afraid and embrace it. Embrace every single one of your insecurities, faults, mistakes, disbeliefs, misconceptions, failures, and make it yours. Turn your fear into something real, something tangible, something more meaningful than money or status, something that you're so eager to show your mom so she can put it on the fridge, something that makes you so happy that you can't help but sit in a park and share it with the world. Whatever you do, don't let the world scare you from being yourself. Because it's not just about being what you want to be. It's about being what people say you can't be. Becoming what some people thought you didn't have the guts or the courage to become. Yourself. Congratulations, class of 2011.